I'm Steve Roy, and I'm a musician and a violin maker. I live in Eliot, Maine. A luthier is someone that works on, builds instruments and repairs instruments. Besides being a musician, violin, there's a couple different interests that violins always piqued within me. And one of those, besides the musical aspect of it, was the history aspect and the archaeology. And, after being an archaeologist, I love finding artifacts that kind of tell a story. And for me, old violins are some of the probably the most interesting artifacts that I've ever dealt with, because it's a something made by somebody a long time ago. So it tells a lot about the person that made it. It tells you'll get information about the town they lived in, the time they lived in. And then besides that, it also carries a lot of the information of the people that played it, the type of music they played. You can tell in the varnish and in the all the nicks and dings and that. There's a story, and every violin's got a big long story to it. And so, already the violins I've built and banged up a little while I've been playing them have their own little story that they tell. So it's been a pretty fascinating thing to get into. Learning to get used to being a patient worker has been a big lesson. And so I realize whenever I show up to the shop, I'm just ready to do whatever work I can get done, and realize it's not so much about accomplishing a new task for the day. It's really about what you're learning for the day. And so every day, every task, every failure is a good learning experience. And because you have to make all the mistakes, just like in music. You've got to know where all the wrong notes are. And those are some of the best lessons you can ever have. So that's a good thing. To have that, to be ready to make mistakes is good. In music and in violin making. Well, in all things in life, really. Of course, the greatest joy of violin making is to have the finished product and to play it and have someone else play it and enjoy it as well. And to hear your instrument come to life through somebody else or through yourself. I really enjoy playing my violins. So that's been really great. I mean, finishing my first violin felt like having a diploma that I could play. And that was really, 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 really rewarding. And it took me a few years to get that one done. But one of the best feelings about making violins is, as much as I'm enjoying the ones that I've finished, my heart always transfers over into the one I'm working on at that moment. And so that's the one that makes me the most exciting, or the most excited, because, well, the creative process is happening. And it all comes back to music, where when you've got a group, or when you're studying yourself with music, or especially when you're playing in a group and the magic is happening and you're creating something, say you're writing a song or coming up with an arrangement that's really, you're excited about it. The same thing's happening when you're making an instrument where I realize, I just love the way this F hole is coming out, and so then I'm carving it, and the next one comes out good, and I'm like, I just love the way that looks. And so then I get all excited about it. And I might have carved it a different way, or been forced to carve it a different way because of a mistake that I made, and then I'm able to get out of my little problem that I'm in and come out with something that's a bit more human and kind of representative of a little battle that hopefully I've overcome. My goals for violin making, I mean, of course, there's that little part of me that wants to be a great violin maker. And I want people to look back hundreds of years from now and, there to be some kind of myth about me. But really, that's just fun to dream about. For me, I just like sitting with a piece of wood and getting to know that piece of wood. And then I get into that piece of wood and I just... And then a few hours have gone by and I'm feeling pretty good about myself and I'm taking my time and it's really peaceful process. And it's one of those things, you know, it's like meditation or playing music, practicing music has a lot of the same aspect to it. So just the work process is very good for the soul. It really, it's good for the nerves. It's good for blocking out all the hectic parts of life that drive you out of your mind. So for me, that's a giant part of it. I also like the study. I like the history of it. I like the whole violin world is a great realm of study, and it fulfills a lot of the. There's a lot of things that I'm into that are part of the violin world and the violin making world. So you've got the history, you've got the music, you've got the woodworking, you've got, you know, all of that. I love that. So it's all really good for the soul. You know, something I've always thought about with violin making is how my instruments are going to stand the test of time and how long they'll be around, because you talk about, well, Stradivarius and Amati and Guarneri and all the greats, and those guys, you know, those violins are around 200-300 years and they're still being played. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how long my violins stick around and who plays them and what type of music is played on them.